Welcome everybody to episode number 74 of Gaming Culture Radio. I'm your host Tyler. Joined as always by our co-host, -1 this week because Graham is visiting family. He has traveled the only road in Canada to visit family for Christmas. So
follow the only road.
Yeah. So happy holidays to Graham. I'm sure he'll be listening, but I hope you have a good time with family. For those of you who don't know, Graham works like super hard all the time and sleeps like 4 hours a day. So
he is a hard-working Canadian.
He is. So rest up, Graham. Have fun. Hope you listen to the show and you like it. We miss you, but please stay away and enjoy time with your family. And we'll see you when you come back. So without further ado, let's talk to our co-hosts that are here. Let's start with Eugene. Eugene, how are you and what have you been playing this week?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm waiting for all the Christmas holiday stuff to die down. In the last week, I finally beat the Fractured But Whole, South Park Fractured But Whole, and really enjoyed my time with it. And then, surprisingly, I've been playing Assassin's Creed Origins, which I was very happy. I was very disappointed at the very beginning of it, but after learning the combat system and everything, I'm learning to love it. The graphics are very impressive. I'm actually torn right now to what had the better graphics this year. Was it Horizon or was it Assassin's Creed? So it turned out to be great. What about you guys?
I'm going to tell you, Eugene, when you play it on the One X, which you said you want to get, that won't be a question anymore.
Oh, yeah. Like I'm sure it looks even better, but
it does.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. Plays fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, Steve, how are you? What you been playing?
I'm doing great. I just finished finals week, so I'm done with school for the semester, and I've been playing. I beat Shadow of War. Besides the super grindy part at the end, I'm leaving that for when I just want to go kill some orcs. But I beat the main story minus that last little cutscene that you see that I don't care about. And I've been playing. Just started Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on the Switch.
Nice.
Thoroughly enjoying that. How about yourself? What have you been playing?
Well, real quick, so if you had to give the Mordor game a score out of 10, your personal experience, what would you say?
I'd give it like an 8.5 maybe.
Okay, so that's pretty good. So for me, I'm doing well. I'm bracing for the final leg of the holiday season at work. But I played a lot of Destiny 2 this week and got into... We did the Heroic Strike playlist last night and had a relative amount of fun with that. And I think it's it hasn't changed my opinion on the DLC that we talked about last week, but I think it's made it better.
Yeah.
Because it is more fun, and they change up some of the strikes in the Heroic playlist, so that's good, and that's fresh content. It feels like fresh content, even though it's really not. So it was good, and we got to play the new strike.
So my question again, Tyler.
Yep.
We brought it up last week, but I still haven't bought the season pass. Should I go ahead and buy the season pass?
Man, based on... Okay, so I'm going to say it depends on how much you like the game, period. Because if you enjoy the leveling up part, you enjoy the, raising your power level and collecting gear and doing all that stuff, then yes, get it because you can do more of that.
I mean, I love the game, but I don't miss it right now. Like, I really don't feel the need to jump back into it. Is it worth jumping back into?
So I'll tell you, the new content, the new story is not going to scratch that itch for you and make you, really love the game again.
So no.
Yeah, I would not recommend.
Yeah. If you already if you like the grind, so to speak, and just kind of leveling up, making your guy more powerful, collecting new gear, completing sets, all that stuff, then yes, get it.
Yeah.
If not, if you're just looking for a new story arc to kind of save the experience for you or make it fun again, no.
Okay, yes. I'm going to pass.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Though, speaking of them changing the strikes, I just thought, what if they have it where it's randomly, chosen? So you can still do the original strikes or you get through the new stuff and you don't know what you're doing until you get to it. So, last night we did the Savathun song strike and it was a little different. But let's say we go play tonight, and now we're back to the original. I think that would add a little more, too, because then it's not going to get tired of doing the new version.
I agree. And the other thing I wish they would add, and I love that the playlist is back. I think that's great.
Oh, so it is back?
Yeah, the Strike playlist,
yes. Oh, nice.
Yes, the Heroic Strike playlist.
Yep.
You were talking about that the other week.
Yep, and that's really fun. It's a nice addition, and it's kind of helped save the DLC for me. Not totally save it, but make it better.
Yeah.
But I would love to see an option to vote on the strike you're going to do next.
Yeah,
So,
even if it's just a choice of like 2.
yeah, I'm fine with that.
So like kind of like Halo, where they give you like 2 of them, and then like you between the 3, you might vote on which one you want.
Yep,
absolutely. I like that idea.
That's what I'd love to see, because we were so worried that we were going to do like the 3 strikes to get the milestone done, and we weren't going to get to do the new one. And luckily, the 3rd one was the new one, so that was good. But I'd love to see the option to just select a different one and be able to have some input on which one we're actually going to do.
Or maybe a filter. I know I don't want to keep talking about Destiny, but what about having a filter? Like, I don't want to play that one specific strike. I want to put a filter to where it will not select that one for us.
Yeah, maybe that. And the problem is there just aren't enough strikes yet to really make that worth it.
True.
Unless you're looking for like a Nuketown scenario in Call of Duty where people just want to play Nuketown.
They make it just a Nuketown place. Yeah.
So, but it's the heroic strikes have helped, but overall, I would say if you're looking for the content wise to make the game better, no, it's not going to do it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get the business out of the way first. You can join us in our Facebook group, our forums at Game Culture Radio forums on Facebook. And when you're there, submit questions to be read on the show. We're going to talk about those later in this episode. If your question is read on air, you're entered to win our monthly giveaway, which this month is a weekly giveaway for the holiday season. And while you're doing that, head on over to culturegaming.com. You can get all the latest in your gaming news. And Eugene, you can talk real quickly. Right now, the total community vote, right? 100% community vote for Game of the Year is up. So if you want to talk about that real quick.
Yeah, so on cultureofgaming.com, look for the article that says Vote Now, Game of the Year 2017, and put in your input. There's several categories on there, including overall Game of the Year and then the individual Game of the Year for each individual console. So go on there and vote, so that way we can get the most input possible to award a winner. So, cultureofgaming.com, and look for the Game of the Year poll.
Yep, and head there for all the latest and all your gaming news from Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and PC. And finally, we need your help. Support us on Twitch and Mixer. Doesn't cost anything to you. Just go hit that follow button under Gaming Culture Radio and help support us. Helps us reach affiliate status, especially on Twitch, where we can provide a better content, better experience for you. All right. Before we jump in, we're going to try a little bit new format this week, something to help spark more discussion on the show and have it not be quite as segmented as we've always done. So we appreciate your feedback. Let us know what you think over on the forums on Facebook. But we hope this works out better. So news is going to be transitioned to what we call our top 5 of the week. And we're going to go around the table and each toss out a news item until we've hit 5 of them and discuss them as we go. So let's start with our top 5. Who is going first today?
That would be me.
All right,
with
what do you got?
One of the bigger news stories of the week. There wasn't much, but Ni no Kuni 2 was delayed till March 23rd. That window is absolutely full of games. You have Sea of Thieves, God of War, Yakuza 6, A Way Out, Far Cry 5, and now Ni no Kuni 2 all have a release date between March 20th and March 27th. That is a lot of games that are supposed to be really good coming out in that week. It's going to be October all over again.
Yeah, it's October all over again. And
yeah, no joke.
Super.
Yeah, so if you could only pick 2 games out of those 5 or 6, what 2 would you guys go with?
Oh God. Let's make it 3.
No, you gotta pick 2. You gotta pick 2.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and go first. Ni no Kuni 2 would be first on my list, because I think a couple of weeks ago that was actually a question of what we're most excited for, and that's the game that I said I was really excited to have that in January. But that would be one, and then I guess number 2, man, that'd be a tie-up between God of War or Far Cry 5. So I'm gonna say God of War. So God of War and Ni no Kuni 2 would be my 2 picks.
Okay.
Both PlayStation games.
Cool. I'll go next, and I'll say Sea of Thieves for sure. That's a game, and we played last night. We can't get into it because there's an NDA on the alpha, but yeah, it's super fun. I think we were just kind of messing around last night, and we didn't really do a whole lot. But I'm definitely getting it on day one. My other one is probably going to be Far Cry 5. Because, and it's funny because I haven't loved Far Cry games up till now as much as I'd hoped I would, but this one looks different and fun. And I do love the co-op aspect that they showed off at E3 last year. So, and I think a little bit of Gamescom too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But really looking forward to seeing what that game has to offer. So that's not to say I'm not going to buy other ones, but if I can only pick two, it's going to be those two. Steve.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm also with Eugene. I'm going to go Ni no Kuni 2 also, and Sea of Thieves. God of War and Far Cry will wait till they go down on sale. But it will be those two. But since Ni no Kuni got delayed, now I'm almost guaranteed I'm buying Monster Hunter Worlds, since that'll be the only game, or one of the only, coming out in January. So unless it gets reviewed terribly, I'm more than likely picking that up.
Did you play the beta yet?
No, I just haven't had time, and I haven't logged on my PlayStation.
So keep in mind, by the way, we still don't have a release date for Red Dead 2.
Yes,
I don't think it'll be March, but I think it's going to be shortly after.
April, probably.
Yeah, it's very possible that 2 weeks after this, litany of releases comes out, that's coming out too.
When did the last Red Dead come out? Do you remember?
Was it May? It was a spring release. It was April or May.
I think it was May. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's May. But yeah, that'd be the time for it.
Yep.
I could see May being Red Dead 2. That'd be a good.
And I love when they put games out in that window, in like May, when you got the summer with nothing else really coming out.
Yes.
To really dive into a game that big and just really have the full experience of the game.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say when these games come out in like October, personally, I end up not getting through the whole thing, or at least like as much of it as I can. I might get through the main story and complete that, but all the other stuff going on between the multiplayer and whatever, I don't get through because there's so much other stuff coming out. And I just move on to something else. So the fact that this game is slated to come out in that window to give us basically the summer to have like games like Red Dead 2 and Sea of Thieves to really just waste time in is awesome. And I love what this early next year looks like.
So yeah, the last one did come out in May 2010. Okay. Man, that was a long time ago. But I think companies are starting to realize now that they had a lot of missed opportunities the last few years, because really it took a while for anyone to pick up, because there was a dead period basically between January and August for the longest time. So they're finally learning that, hey, we don't need to put all games in October and November. Maybe we need to wait and release it in February, March, which, like you said, I'm okay with, because that gives us something to do during that typical dead period. Yeah,
and I think real quick that especially games that are like co-op and multiplayer focused, and I know Red Dead 2 is going to have a great story, but let's face it, after the success of GTA Online, that's where they're going to gear this towards, right? Like, it's going to have a great story, but they're going to throw so much into that online portion that giving players basically a 3-month window with little to no serious competition is going to be great.
I hope so.
So I can't wait for it. I'm really looking forward to it. We just got to make sure Graham buys it. Graham, if you're listening, you're buying it. So, all right. Anything else on that before we move on to number 2?
No, but we did forget one game coming out in that window, and that'd be MLB 18 more than likely will be coming out in that window too. So that's an expensive month, so maybe start pre-ordering games.
Yeah.
Hopefully some sales. We'll see. They just need to make another Black Friday for that month.
I need Xbox cards for Christmas, so I'm hoping that my family comes through on that. So,
hint, Mom, if you're listening, some cards.
If my mom only knew what podcasts were, then I'm sure she would listen. I've tried to explain it many times. So, anyway, Eugene, number 2 on our top 5. What do you got?
Yeah, so the Nintendo Switch has sold 10 million units in 9 months. So, in comparison to the Wii U, which was their last iteration, it only sold 13.6 million in 5 years' time. So, in less than a year. So, they're already projecting that by the end of the year for the holiday season, that it's going to beat out the Wii U, which I totally believe. If not this holiday season, definitely by the FYE, which will be February. So I think it'll surpass the Wii U, but very surprised with that. Did not think the Switch would be that successful. And second thing I'm surprised about too is that I'm going into stores right now and I see a Switch everywhere. Like in every game case, at Target, at Walmart, at GameStop, the Nintendo Switch is there and it's available. So I think that's another thing that's made big difference with their sales. What do you guys think?
I just think real quick, it's two things. One, the supply's there this time, like you said. So there's no supply shortage. Because remember, Wii U had a supply shortage for a while. And that impacted their early sales numbers. And then not enough people had the console. And it hurt the life cycle of the box. Yeah. But this time, you can get one right now. So it's readily available. And second, and most importantly, and this is something Microsoft needs to learn from, and I think they are, is if you have great games, you're going to move consoles.
Yep.
And the two best games of the year, last year or this year, were on Nintendo Switch. Exclusively.
Yep.
And nothing against, the other great games out there, like Horizon. But the best two games of the year were exclusive to Switch, and that moves consoles, period.
I think something else, too, that I think we're all surprised about as well is third-party support. So along these lines, this was news maybe a month ago, but the Switch surpassed like 250 games as well. So within that 9-month time frame, more than 250 games were available, which beat out not only the Xbox, but also the PlayStation in its first year. So a ton of games and tons of third-party support, which we weren't expecting. I mean, were you guys expecting to play LA Noire or we knew Skyrim was coming, but did you think you could ever play Doom rated on Switch? So I think that's another big thing as well.
Yeah, plus, I own.
Go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
I own 3 games on the Switch, and I couldn't be happier. I own Super Mario Odyssey, Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And I
still haven't picked up Xenoblade.
Love all 3 of them, and I don't regret my Switch purchase at all.
Yeah.
Good.
I can't say I regret it either. I haven't played as much as probably you guys have, but I'm about to go on a trip for work in a few weeks, and I'm definitely bringing it with. So I think it's great, and I think the games that have been out there have been fantastic. And Eugene, I think you're 100% right. The third-party support is a big deal, and the fact that you see these sales numbers now, it's only going to get bigger.
Yep.
In terms of third party. So, you saw EA take a risk with FIFA. I bet you anything we see Madden on it next year.
FIFA didn't do so well, so it's kind of broken.
Well, yeah, but still, I mean, that's because the game's broken.
Yeah.
So
and WWE from 2K was also very broken, so
yeah.
I mean, but that's their fault. That's their fault for making a broken game. So
yeah, and WWE 2K18 for the record has shown up on some worst games of the year lists. So yeah, it's unfortunate because I generally like playing that game. I didn't get it this year, but I think that the more the system performs well in terms of sales, the more third party support you're going to see, and I think the key is going to be when are we going to see games like Call of Duty go back to Nintendo. And once that happens, then it's game over. I mean, we might not even be talking about Sony ruling the generation anymore.
It's true. So, but do you think this changes console releases? Because the Switch released this year with Breath of the Wild, and then Mario came out in the year. Like, that's 2 great games coming out right away, basically, for a new console. Whereas if you remember when the Xbox One released, there was the issue of there wasn't much to play on it. And I can't remember when PlayStation 4 came out how much was on that. So do you think when the PlayStation 5 comes out, are we going to get those big masterpiece level games?
Yeah, we talked about it last week, I think. But I don't think there's any way that Death Stranding is not a launch title for the PlayStation 5.
Yep, I agree.
So if that means they have to hold that box till 2020, then that's what's going to happen. But I think it's going to be 2019.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think we'll get the first peek at it at E3 this year. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Oh, yeah, definitely E3 this year.
Mm-hmm.
Finally getting gameplay, you think?
No, I mean the box. Like PlayStation 5.
Like we're going to see it. They're going to announce it. They're going to announce it at E3 this year.
Yeah. Especially if the Xbox One X is cutting into their lead. Yeah. So, I think we'll see it then. But, all right, cool. All right, number 3, if you guys have nothing else. All right. Number 3 in our top 5. Rare released a video this week detailing how progression is going to work in Sea of Thieves. And there are 4 different factions to join, and through these factions you get what are called voyages, which is another term for quests. And by completing these quests, you increase your reputation. Now each faction has different focuses, so it could be like finding treasure on islands. It could be in combat with like the undead that appear on the different islands. It can be through combat with other ships, with other players. All those types of things, and there's kind of a focus for each faction. The really cool thing about this is that there's no wall preventing anyone from doing anything. So someone can level up and be much higher level, but if your buddy's playing with you, he can do your quest too, because the progression doesn't make you overpowered. It just helps your reputation. Mm-hmm. So, Eugene, if you bought the game a month into release, and I got it on day 1, you can still come play, do the quests I'm doing, and get the rewards I'm doing, and it's not going to seem impossible for you.
Well, yeah, I can't buy it day 1 because Steve only let me buy 2 games in the month of March. So,
I'm just protecting your wallet.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. Me. Yeah,
but I think it's great though. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. But that's one of the things I like about games like Destiny, because in Destiny you can partner with somebody with that higher level, and you can do those missions with them, and you can kind of hang back, and they can kind of take care of you, and you're still having fun with them. And then too, it takes away some of the grind.
Yes.
So hopefully, I don't know, they didn't say anything about that, but if we're gaining EXP for a higher level than me quest, then hopefully I'm getting the rewards from that. That way I can catch up to you guys. Good. That way I can catch up to you guys if I'm not playing as much as you.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead, Steve.
I think compared to even Destiny, this is like a better system for giving the game legs, because Destiny, you can go do the story missions with someone who's like a level 1 and you're a level 25, but you can't bring the level 1 in with you to do strikes and raids and all that. Mm-hmm. But in this game, the way they're making it sound is that you can do anything with anybody the entire time, which, as long as the game offers a good amount of variety, this game should be able to last through the summer into the fall with just picking up and playing. And based on what we played in the alpha, I think I can see that happening.
Yeah,
I honestly can.
The cool thing is that there's so much stuff to do other than just mainline stuff, right?
Yeah.
So there's little silly moments that occur, and I'm going to hit on a couple of them here, and it's not story based and it's not quest based, so we're not, I don't think, violating any NDA. But like Steve, you got your grog out last night and went drinking.
I did.
And Steve was a little buzzed in the game. He's wandering around.
Oh, Eugene, I was way more than buzzed.
Eugene went up to scout an island and just fell off. And he was gone.
Yeah, and you guys, thanks guys for not helping me out there whenever that happens. So,
but that's not the worst thing we did. We had a random fourth in there, and sorry, random fourth guy, if you're listening, thanks for listening. But we just decided we're going to put him in the brig. And then the ship's leaking, so you got to get your little bucket and get the water out. So instead of carrying the water up and throwing it over the side, we just start like throwing it on him in the brig over and over and over.
We were not nice to that guy.
We were not. And there's like 3 of us standing around, and well, he dropped the anchor on us. Sorry, then you get that puts you in the brig. So rather than getting rid of the leak or whatever, the standing water in the boat, we just kept splashing him with it and throwing it on him, and then he quit. So sorry, new guy. But it was just little silliness like that and fun things that you can do in the game give it a lot of legs and help carry you through those, like, because you spend a lot of time like going from one place to another. Mm-hmm. And I think it helps you kind of pass that time in a way that's fun and entertaining. So anyway. Yes. We shouldn't get deeper into it because I don't want to violate any sort of NDA.
Yeah, but I do want to say one more thing that my girlfriend was watching me play, and she's like, "Man, what is this game? It actually looks kind of fun." And I'm like, "Well, this is a Sea of Thieves game I told you about," and she's like, "Yeah, this is something that I'd like to play." So definitely probably a good couch co-op, or it's kind of cartoony and fun too.
Well, so the other thing I'll say is that the look of the game and the feel of the game makes you think this is something that you'd see on Switch.
Possibly.
It's like, and it'll never be there. No. This is a Microsoft exclusive. But you know what I mean? Like, the all-inclusive like feel of the game.
Friendly.
Yeah, family-friendly feel. Anybody can jump in and play. Plus, even like the graphics on the game look like something you'd expect to see there. And I think Microsoft is well served to bring more content like that to their platform. So hopefully this game does really well. The alpha has had a lot of participation from what I can see. Because if you go on the group, like the groups on Xbox One, or the clubs, I mean, like that's packed, and there's tons of people talking about it all the time. So I think this game's going to have a lot of success when it launches. It is a $60 game, but and then the last thing I want to say is that as you level up in reputation, they said in the video, you achieve what's called Pirate Legend, and that's the end game. That unlocks all this end game content for you that they haven't even put out yet. It won't even be part of the launch. So that, I think, is your DLC. So it seems to be a really good release and a lot of fun. Anything else, guys, on that?
No.
All right. Let's get to number 4. Back to Steve. What do you got?
All right. So Take-Two has announced a new publishing label called Private Division for indie developers. Some of the games on there is an unannounced RPG from Obsidian Entertainment, helmed by Fallout co-creators Tim Kainand and Leonard Boyarsky. Ancestors of Humankind Odyssey, a new RPG codenamed Project White from The Outsiders, studio founded by ex-DICE developers, an unannounced sci-fi first-person shooter, and Kerbal Space Program is also going to be part of that publishing label. And Kerbal Space Program has a new expansion coming out in 2018 sometime, which has me very excited as I put 60, 70 hours just blowing rockets up on the way to the moon, or the moon from Kerbin in KSP. It's a great game. Highly recommend if you haven't played it.
And that's got me excited. On Xbox, right?
Well, so it came to the Xbox and PlayStation, but it was
very broken.
Lot of issues. So they removed it from the store, and they were working on fixing it to get it back up. And if I didn't actually buy it on the Xbox, but if they fix the problems, I will definitely get it on there.
Oh yeah, I know. When it's on PC, game. When it was on PC, is a lot of people's game of the year. So, and then I know it was a major disappointment when it came to consoles, just because it felt broken. But yeah, so hopefully they get it fixed up, and I'm excited for Take-Two. Take-Two is huge. So yeah. I'm surprised they haven't picked up an indie division yet. So I'm excited that they're taking some of that 2K money and some of that Rockstar money and going to apply it to. We all know they got some Rockstar money, so taking then Obsidian Fallout New Vegas, one of my favorite Fallout games. So that excites me to what could come about to that and in that aspect.
Yeah, and Obsidian has also released what is it? Pillars of Eternity, and I'm blanking on the name. It's a game where you play the bad guys. It's exactly like Pillars of Eternity, that top-down isometric RPG, similar to Baldur's Gate.
Mm-hmm.
Can't think of the name right now.
Not sure. But I want to say
they didn't they have something to do with South Park too? Yes, they did. Yeah, they made the Stick to Truth. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So awesome.
And I think that this is a reflection of the success that EA's had with embracing indie developers. With games like Unravel, and then there's the other one that's coming out soon. They talked about a lot at E3 last year, and I forgot the name of it. But they got a lot of positive press for that, and the games were good. So I think it's a reflection on that too.
Yeah.
Sorry?
The game was Tyranny, by the way. And
Okay,
they also had something to do with Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic too, so we'll see if that happens. I mean, we can get a third one, but I doubt it. Right. But that's got me excited. So.
All right. Sounds awesome. Eugene, take us home with our top 5.
Don't forget about, are we not going to talk about PUBG at all?
You are
I said take us home. You're the 5th one.
Okay. Well, I thought you were taking the So, no. Yeah, so PUBG has already sold more than 1 million copies on the Xbox One. So very, very impressive, very strong numbers. Especially it's been a week and a half maybe. So you guys have anything to add on to that?
No, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's really impressive. I hope to get the game soon, Haven't picked it up yet. But the early reviews have been pretty good. It's a little buggy, but that's to be expected, I think.
Yeah. So I'll tell you a little bit about my experience. So first off, I know you guys got an Xbox One X last month, but if you pick up a Xbox One X after December 17th, for a limited time, you get PUBG for free. So that is also going to crank those numbers up somewhat and then add on to the player base. How do you guys feel about that? Do you guys feel like you got the shaft a little bit?
I do, as I just bought one like 3 weeks ago, so that one hurts a little bit.
Yes and no. Like, whenever I get something right away, I never expect to get all the perks, and there's going to be stuff later, right? So you buy a new TV and you spend whatever on it, and then a year later it's like half the price,
Yeah.
So it's just kind of the way it goes. And when you get a brand new console, it doesn't have add-ons and pack-ins in it, and then 6 months later, all the bundles start to come out, and you're like, why don't I just wait? But it's all right. I'm happy with my One X purchase. I do wish it would have included the game for free, but I'm okay with it not.
I mean, you guys might want to wait anyway, so I've been playing it, and it is a fun game. There's no doubt about that. Like the whole battle arena where there's 100 people on a map, and I played squads mostly. So with squads, you play with a group of 4 people, and you go into the map, and you're basically going against another squad in the same area. So your job is to survive the longest period of time, and ultimately you want to try to be the number 1 person on the map, so the last man standing, basically. But it is the frame rate. The frame rate is the biggest issue. I played on both my Xbox One, my original, and my Xbox One S, which I've heard some people say that the S has slightly better performance, and same thing with the X has slightly better performance, but none of them are anywhere near perfect, so they have got to fix the frame rates. It's like playing it's almost like playing a PC game that your PC cannot play. It's way too so it runs about, it feels like 15 to 20 frames. It's definitely nowhere near a solid 30. So it's very glitchy. And then the graphics too, they're almost like last gen graphics, which with that game, you don't need great graphics for it. And plus it is a $30 game, and a lot of people are upset about charging. So I want to get your guys' input on how you feel about them charging for basically a game preview game.
Steam's been doing it for years with their Steam Greenlight and early access. I bought Divinity Original Sin on the PC back when it was like right when it came out, and there was lots of issues, but if you know what you're getting into, it's in the preview program.
That's true.
Like if you want a full game, wait for it to release fully. It's the preview program for a reason. You get the game, you deal with the bugs, you send it in, you help them develop it, and you get to play early.
Yeah,
I don't see an issue with it.
I 100% agree. The first thing you said, you know what you're getting into. So the people that do this and then complain, I mean, nobody hid anything from you.
Yes.
It's a preview game. It's not a completed product. And the preview program games are always sold at a lower price than what you're going to get them for at launch.
Yes.
And that's part of the thing, too. So you invest in it, and it helps them get feedback through all the data, analytics, whatever, that help them make the game better. So you're kind of you're almost like a game tester. You know what I mean? And it helps them improve the game, make it better, and get it ready for launch. And then as a reward for that, you get the game cheaper than everybody else does at launch.
Yep.
So my problem is when people buy these games in preview and then expect it to be the final version and have a fit over stuff that's not perfect. And just like when betas come out, people want to see betas as a game trial now. And sometimes they are. If the game's in beta 3 weeks before it releases, that's a trial.
That's not server testing. It's server testing, really.
Yeah. Or it's a way to have people try it for free to hopefully bump your sales. Sure. Along with being a server test, So, but yeah, you know what you're getting into, so it doesn't bother me. Just like microtransactions don't bother me either, honestly, because it's your choice whether or not to buy them.
Yeah. Yeah. So second question, should it be considered for Game of the Year since it's not complete?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so either. But, well, the PC game, fine. It's close to being done. Mm-hmm. But I think when they're talking about PUBG, they're talking about it on the PC and not the Xbox.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, for sure.
So,
yeah.
I don't have an issue. But I know when you were talking about frame rate earlier, I know early on in its life on the PC, even if you had a really good PC, it was very hard to optimize it to get non-laggy frame rate. So,
which is weird to me.
Kinks to iron out. I know.
Yeah,
but
it's so weird to me because it's not a visually impressive game at all. Like,
I think it's just the amount of stuff going on.
Yeah, that's what it is. Probably the map size. The map is huge.
So the better processor might help.
But you still can't argue the numbers. I mean, the numbers have shown in terms of Steam, like this is one of the most popular and like most concurrently played games in the history of Steam.
Number 1.
Is it number 1 now? Because I know it was number 2.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it beat out. I think first was Counter-Strike, and then I'm pretty sure it beat it out.
Wow. So there's something for everyone in this game. And there's different ways you can play, different things you can do, and that's a perfect recipe, right? So, kudos to them for making a game that people love.
Yeah.
And it's a reflection, too, because, we have on our show notes that the game got rated 5 out of 10 by IGN, the Xbox version anyway. But people still love the game. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the examples of, I find this pretty rare, but one of the examples where the reviewers' score doesn't reflect what people think. So, good on them for doing it. But to answer your question, Eugene, I don't think it should be considered for Game of the Year. Because even games that come out this late in the year, that get their official release, late December, aren't considered for Game of the Year. Because it's outside the window.
Mm-hmm.
It's for next year.
But I would, at this time, I didn't think I would. I thought it was just something I'd be picking up and playing a little bit. But it actually is a fun game. Mm-hmm. It's different gameplay than I'm used to. It's more about anticipation, because and I'll just quickly end it with this. So in one game you'll end off where you have 15 minutes to. I don't know if you guys know how it is, but you don't start off with anything. You land on the map and you have to go and find guns. You have to go find ammo, and hopefully you don't run into anybody in the meantime, because you don't know where anybody's at beginning. But in the second game that I played, it started me off. I parachuted off the plane, and I landed in a group of enemies. All 4 enemies were right where I landed, and I died almost instantly. I was hoping that they wouldn't see me, but they did, and they gunned me down. It's really about anticipation and not knowing. It's playing hide and seek basically with guns. So kind of fun.
All right, awesome. So that wraps up our top 5 of the week, and like we said, we're going to be doing some new format stuff this week. Top 5 is just one of those. We're going to be kind of molding together new releases and deals to hopefully make it more discussion-based and make it flow a little better than what we think it had been doing. So let us know what you think of Top 5 and our next upcoming segment. We're going to kick off deals/new releases with Eugene with PlayStation. What do you got?
All right, so just a reminder for PS Plus, you can still get Darksiders 2, the Definitive Edition, Forma 8, Kung Fu Panda, Showdown of Legendary Legends, That's You, which is Europe only, Until Dawn, Rush of Blood for the PSVR. For PS3, you can get X-Blade, Lost Memories, Siberia Collection, and for Vita, Forma 8 and Wanted Core. And just a few new releases, several PSVR releases. So Shooty Fruity comes out on the 19th. Defunct also comes out on the 19th. Accounting, which is an accounting simulator, comes out on the 19th. And then big news in the last few weeks, Bridge Construction Portal, which I don't know if you guys are Portal fans, but I was a Portal fan back in the day. I'm kind of excited that this game's coming out, even though it's kind of a letdown. Did you guys see the trailer? Or did you guys ever play Portal in the past?
I did play Portal, but I haven't seen the trailer.
I saw the trailer. We're finally getting Portal 3, guys.
Nope.
Who's excited?
Nope.
It's Portal 3.
Nope. Yep. So that's the way the trailer seemed, because Valve released this trailer, and it's like, oh my God, Portal's coming back. So we're getting a new Portal. Nope. You get Bridge Constructor Portal, which is if you don't know, it's not that popular. But Bridge Constructor is a game where you have to use physics and science to build bridges, and so many trucks and weight will be going across the bridge, and if you built a good one, then it'll stand up. But now they've implemented portals into it, so it has a portal aspect, it has portal enemies in it, and plus the red ring, blue ring, you create some portals to make your trucks go across, vehicles go across. So pretty neat aspect. It's only $5. I mean, you can't go wrong. If you like portal and bridge construction, you can get that on PS4 and Xbox and PC, and I believe the Nintendo Switch as well. Speaking of deals, my one good deal for the week that I think that you should go out and get, if you need to renew your PS Plus subscription, you can pick it up at GameStop for only $40. So if you need to renew PS Plus, $40, that's as cheap as it will probably get. Other than Black Friday, I don't think it's that cheap on Black Friday, so that's $20 off. So going on, let's talk about Xbox One, Tyler.
All right, so let's start new releases. You mentioned Defunct. You can get that on the 19th on Xbox One. You can also get on the 20th, Life is Strange, Before the Storm, Episode 3, Hell is Empty, if that's not a long enough title for you. That is also on PC and PS4 and available on the 20th. So as far as deals go, remember, games with gold, you can still get Back to the Future, the game, and Warhammer End Times for Xbox One, and then also Marlo Briggs and the Mask of Death on backwards compatibility. All available through Games with Gold this month. And my deal of the week is Star Wars Battlefront 2, available at Best Buy for $39.99 for all platforms, both Xbox and PlayStation. It is $31.99 at Best Buy, Gamers Club Unlocked, or via GCU. And Gamers Club Unlocked, that's Best Buy's thing with the name they came up with. So
I got it.
Yeah. Did
yeah,
you?
$30. Yeah, I didn't get the game. I have Gamers Club Unlocked. It's a good deal. $30 for 2 years. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
20% off any game. So
it used to be like $100 and some for the thing for 2 years. And then one day they just, or for 1 year. And then just one day they just decided we're going to lower this price way down.
It's an awesome deal.
No, it's a great deal, and I think it's one of the good incentives out there to go physical over digital. But I still like my digital games. That's just me. So
convenience is everything.
Because it's great for game sharing.
Also that.
It's great for game sharing if you have somebody good to game share with, and
a roommate or something, or a family member that lives with you.
Well, it's great.
People buy games.
Yeah, it's a fantastic program when it's game sharing and not game donation. So, anyway, all right, let's move on to Nintendo Switch. Back to you, Gene. What do you got?
All right, so the Nintendo Switch, several new titles, a bunch of indie titles, so like to see the indie support. We have Mom Hid My Game, which comes out on the 21st. And then we have a few re-releases that were on the Xbox and PS4. So we have Max, The Curse of the Brotherhood, which was a fantastic game, a kind of a dark game as well. I don't know if you guys ever played it on Xbox. And then Dear God, a little 8-bit indie game. That both those games, by the way, I think at Max and Dear God were both free with Games with Gold. So now you can play them on the Nintendo Switch. So let's end off with a few PC hardware specials, Steve.
Well, first of all, there's only one big release on PC, and that's PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds finally gets a release to, I assume, 1.0 on the 20th. And then as far as deals, Humble Bundle has their Yogscast Jingle Jam. For $35, you get about 40 games, and all the money goes to charity, which is really cool. And then GOG.com, that's GOG.com, has their winter sale. There's a lot of good stuff on there. All those games are DRM free. So if you're against the whole, having to be online, GOG is the website for you. And lastly, for hardware, you can get a PSVR Gran Turismo bundle at GameStop for $199. That is $200 off the regular price, but you could also get the Skyrim VR bundle that comes with the Move and the camera for $350. So if you need to buy, I think you need to have the Move and the camera, and if you don't have it, the Skyrim bundle might be the bundle for you, as that's $350 instead of $500, I think. Yeah. So those are two good deals if you're looking to get into VR for cheap.
And actually, Skyrim reviewed great on PSVR. I think it got like a 8.0.
It did. It reviewed very well. And Fallout 4 VR reviewed well too.
Mm-hmm. Just real quick though, for PSVR, I've heard you need a PlayStation 4 Pro to get good quality, so it's not janky and stuff.
Yeah.
So it runs smooth. So if you don't have a PS4 Pro, maybe hold off on getting a PSVR, just because I can't guarantee you're going to get a good experience.
The best experience.
Not even the best experience, just a good experience. I'm not sure if you even get good on the original PlayStation.
Yeah, and they were pretty upfront about that. Weren't they? I mean, they said you really need the Pro to have a good
It's optimized for the Pro.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right, awesome. So that wraps up our new releases and deals for the week. Let's head into questions. We have a few questions from our community this week. Steve, we'll stick with you. What's our first one?
All right, so Blake Popes has a couple questions. We'll start with the first one. So they just announced Devil May Cry Remastered. Is there another underrated or not very well-known game you'd like to see get a remastered?
Oh, man.
Man, Devil May Cry, though, I want to say while you guys are thinking, man, that was one of the greatest PS2 games. Is one that I definitely remember. 3 was definitely hard. And then they released the HE collection on the Devil May Cry, but I might pick it up again now that they're re-releasing it. But, man, I can't think of really an underrated game. But something I'd like to see remastered is definitely Skyward Sword. So Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, which was on the Wii. If you guys don't know about the game too much, but you had to play with the nunchuck, which means it's motion controlled. So everything was motion controlled.
Yeah.
You had to swing the sword. You had to lift the sword up in the air sometimes. I want to see it come on the Switch where I don't have to do all that stuff, where I can just play with a controller. That was the biggest complaint about the game. And in a way, I guess it was a little bit underrated because that turned a lot of people away from playing the game, me included. I own it, but never beat it because the move controls were annoying. So what do you guys say?
For me, I'll say I don't want anything else remastered. We kind of went through that spell where we were just getting remaster after remaster after remaster, and nothing really new. So generally, I don't want any more remasters. But if I have to pick one, first thing that came into my head was Red Dead Redemption. Like give it a full HD, like 4K look. But that's it.
I'd play it again.
Yeah, I would. But what I've heard from people that had never played it and they popped it up on backwards compatibility is that it looked dated. So
that's weird.
Graham actually, and he's not here to defend himself, but he bought it on backwards compatibility, went and started playing it and stopped. And part of the reason I think that it didn't draw him in was just because it didn't age all that well.
I mean, it is a 360 game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I started again when it came to backwards compatibility, and I didn't really see the dated look or feel of it, but it did kind of start slow, if I remember. Like,
it does.
The first few hours, it's slow. It's a slow build up, but I don't think we need a remaster, especially with the new one coming out in what I assume is going to be 4K HDR, or at least hopeful. So
I'm sure. Yeah. But how about you? What do you say?
I'm kind of with Eugene. I'd like to see a Legend of Zelda remaster collection. Maybe not just Skyward Sword, but give me Wind Waker because I never played that one. Maybe Ocarina of Time. But Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, and Wind Waker all come to the Switch, remastered, would be amazing for me.
That's something I would appreciate because I've never really played Zelda games.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Cool.
So...
Right,
second question from Blake, another good one. What games have you guys put the most time into this year?
Oh, geez.
I'll go first real quick. Probably Destiny 2. I put a lot of time into that game so far, and I would say the Halo series, not any specific game, but we spent a lot of time going back through, in the first part of the year, going back through, the MCC, playing through Halo 1, 2, 3, into 4, and we still have to complete that. Finish 4 and then get through 5.
And then 5, yep.
Yep. And we were kind of waiting. We decided to put it off because we were waiting for the 4K patch for Halo 5 to jump into that. But now it's here and we kind of have it, so we can jump in and do that. And I'm guessing after the new year, when things kind of settle down, we'll get back into that and play it. But those two for me. Let's go next.
So I actually looked at my Xbox stats for the year. And the number one game that I played for the Xbox this year, at least through November, was NHL 17 with you, Knucklehead. So, playing that game. But probably other than that, at the beginning of the year, Final Fantasy 15, I probably put well in over 100 hours on the PS4. And then Breath of the Wild, I probably put in about 125, 140 hours into that game.
Okay.
So those are two for me.
Cool. Steve?
Mine is Persona 5. It has about 110 hours. And I am thinking about putting another playthrough starting soon because it's just so good.
I need to get first playthrough.
Maybe you do like a streaming, or not streaming, but like maybe a YouTube.
I can't.
Walk through the game?
You can't record it. That's the problem.
Okay,
they haven't lifted that. So.
Really?
Right.
Huh.
Yeah. Atlas had like a ban because there's a. It's kind of the story's pretty good. So I don't want to ruin anything.
Japanese companies are kind of that way about their games. I know Nintendo is definitely they don't like their games being up on YouTube, and I'm sure Atlas is kind of the same way. They don't want to ruin the story for anyone.
Sure, makes sense. All right.
So next question from Brian Richland asks, how do you think the repeal of net neutrality will impact online gaming?
So what I'll say is all I think it's going to do is make it more expensive.
I don't think it's going to do anything because I think both Microsoft and Sony will be able to eat the cost if network providers charge them more.
And the reason I say, Steve, it's going to make it more expensive is because if they have to pay extra, we're going to eat that cost. So we could see Xbox Live, a yearly pass, going to 65 or 70 rather than 60. And they will 100% pass that cost on to consumers.
I disagree. I don't think they. I don't. Maybe not. I don't think they would do the whole cost on the consumers. Maybe. See, I just don't. I don't think they will because I think they're gonna eat it because they're gonna find other ways of getting it back. But it's not gonna make like Xbox Live more expensive. I don't think.
So here's. I mean, we could turn this into a huge debate, but I don't want to turn into that. But just real quickly, if you don't understand net neutrality, and if you're from outside the U.S., net neutrality is basically it was a law that was passed in 2015 to stop. Or to not really stop, but prohibit companies from either charging more for content and then also for limiting bandwidth for content. And specifically what brought it about, and here's why I don't think it'll fit gaming, is because gaming really doesn't take a whole lot of actually playing games online, things like that. Downloading might, but it doesn't require a lot of bandwidth.
No,
streaming video requires a lot, and that's what brought it about. Was they're threatening like Netflix users and Hulu users for streaming too much data. I really don't think if these big companies, if they don't want to hurt their consumer base, I don't think it'll affect anything because pre-2015 it didn't affect anything, which a lot of things could change. But really, I don't think it'll be Sony or Microsoft that'll incur the charges or make you pay more. It will be like Comcast or Suddenlink or whatever provider, AT&T, that you have. It'll be them if there's anybody that's charging, they'll charge you more. A package for playing games or streaming videos, things like that.
Yep, and I agree, and that's why I said if it affects us. But I think it's more likely to see them if they do, because nobody's going to do anything for like a year.
Yeah, no one's going to touch it. Yeah.
But when the first company does, and it will be a giant one, like a Comcast.
Comcast.
Yep. To say to like Netflix, we're going to move you to the slow lane unless you pay us.
Yeah. To
keep it in the fast lane. And if Netflix pays that, I could see Netflix subscriptions going up by a couple dollars. You know what I mean? Because they already have. And they already have, but I think they will again. And the problem is that once they go up, even if, not to get political, but even if the landscape changes in, say, 3 years, and it gets reversed,
those prices
there's no way they bring that price back down.
Nope. You're right.
So, yeah, that's how it'll affect consumers, and I don't think I agree with Eugene. Their target is not Sony and Microsoft. Their target is Netflix and Hulu, and Amazon. Like Netflix is a giant now, and Hulu has majority ownership by Disney. And in fact, a lot of people are speculating that Disney's going to transform Hulu into their streaming service. So, I mean, we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, Disney's the majority owner in Hulu at this point. So,
interesting.
We'll see how it plays out. But people were a little scared, and the whole, the idea, like, I know the counter argument that, well, nothing bad occurred, when the internet was in its infancy. Yeah, but we were on dial-up then, and people weren't streaming video constantly. It was a different environment then. So who knows? Because companies will, well, not always, but normally take advantage of opportunities to generate more revenue.
Yeah.
Especially if it doesn't cost them anything to do.
Yes.
So that's where the danger is. But we'll see how.
And we're not fully guaranteed it's repealed. This still has to go through Congress.
Yeah, it still has a lot of steps it needs to take. Plus, yeah.
If you want it not repealed, call your Congress people.
Yep.
Anyway, so next question from Chelsea McPherson asks, "What game did you love but absolutely hate the sequel of?" If any. I'll start.
All right. Well, go ahead.
So
Steve.
I'm gonna start. It's Assassin's Creed. I loved 2, Brotherhood and Revelations, and then 3 came along, and I couldn't do it. I put like 10 hours into it. It was slow starting, and it just didn't hook me, and the combat fell off, and I just couldn't do it. I played 10 hours, and I was done with it. Wiped my hand of it.
Was 3 the Revolutionary War?
That I love that one.
Yeah, I played that too. I had the same experience as you, Steve. I really wanted to love it just because I love history. But
same here.
It just wasn't. Yeah. So for me, I'll go real quick. It's BioShock. Like, I absolutely love the original BioShock. It's one of my favorite games of all time, if not my favorite game of all time. BioShock 2 just wasn't as good of a story. But what really killed me was that they like threw multiplayer in, because we were kind of in the age then of where everybody felt like every game had to have multiplayer.
Yeah.
So they threw this multiplayer in, and it tried to be a little bit like, almost like the Orange
Team
Box,
Fortress, yeah.
Yeah. And it just didn't work. And I really tried to play it. I put hours and hours into it because I wanted to love it, and it just didn't happen. So that one for me is it. And I think games like that, I think we're finally emerging again into a time where people value just really, really good single-player experiences. So, thankfully. But anyway, Eugene?
For me, Call of Duty. I used to love Call of Duty, especially when Modern Warfare came out, Call of Duty 4, and then, Black Ops came out, and I loved it. And then we started getting, like, Black Ops 3, and then we started getting Advanced Warfare, which Advanced Warfare was probably the last one that I liked somewhat, but... they tried to redeem themselves this year, which I haven't picked it up yet, which I might in the next week. Hopefully, if you guys will play it, I want to play some World War II.
Yeah, I'm in. I mean, I like it.
I know they tried to redeem themselves, but I want that modern feel again. I think Modern Warfare was one of the best iterations, and then the online was just fantastic. That's when. Like you said, Tyler, that BioShock 2, they had to make a multiplayer. It's because it was Call of Duty in its heyday, which I'm not saying it's in its heyday now, which a lot of people still play it, but I don't as much anymore, and it's because of it was the futuristic feel that they try to put into it with the jetpacks and the wall running, and just wasn't into it.
Sure.
Leave that for Titanfall. Don't put that in Call of Duty.
Yeah, I agree.
Call of Duty.
Cool. All right, what's next?
Michael Solseth. I hope I pronounced that right. Solseth, maybe Michael Solseth. All right.
Yep.
Sorry for butchering your name, Michael. But would you say that Capcom is setting themselves up for a fantastic year in 2018, or will it be just as fruitful as the previous years, or just as bad?
So I'll just go first really quick and say that I'm not a big Capcom guy. So there just aren't many games that they make that I'm really that I love. So I can't say I have a strong opinion on this one way or the other because I'm not as personally invested in it as a player, a gamer. So I'll defer to you guys on this.
I'll go next. Monster Hunter Worlds looks awesome. I'm assuming this is talking about the Street Fighter game that's coming out, or the one that's getting remastered or
collection.
something like that.
Yeah.
So I am not a fighting game person. I don't like them. I know a lot of people are, and I know a lot of people that are excited for this. So I can imagine that those games are going to sell well for that crowd. But it's just not for me. But I will get Monster Hunter World, so I hope to play that for a little while.
And I'll probably get talked into getting Monster Hunter.
Yeah, you're
Worlds.
getting it.
If it reviews well, I'll get it too. But
if it's an 8 or higher, I think it's guaranteed.
Yeah, I think that's a good number. But so I love Capcom games, specifically Street Fighter. Whenever I saw that trailer for Street Fighter, like me and my girlfriend were watching it, and we're like, yeah, we're getting this game totally. Even though I probably won't play too much, but just because it has the 30th anniversary. But I think the big thing with Capcom in this upcoming year, and they kind of focused on it this year, was they are reinvesting in their old franchises. They tried a lot of new things with like games like Dragon's Dogma and things like that, but
that was a good game though.
Yeah, it was a good game, but it wasn't really successful for them, and that's why it really didn't get a lot of sequels. But I like that they're bringing back Mega Man, and I read an article yesterday about how the creators were like, yeah, we know the fans want Battle Network. Battle Network was awesome. That we're thinking about it. And then also too, Resident Evil was a big game this last year. So I'm glad that they're looking at their older franchises like those. And then something else too I didn't even think about, but Disney Afternoon Collection came out this year, and I love that game.
Oh, yeah.
So I hope they start looking at some of their other ones. There's a ton of Super Nintendo and Nintendo games that I hope they either bring some collections back or they kind of rejuvenate them, kind of like they did with Resident Evil. Resident Evil was very sought after by a lot of people this year, and it's on a lot of Game of the Year lists. So, I think that 2018 could potentially be a lot bigger.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. And last question from Dylan Anderson asks, how do you guys plan on expanding the podcast in the future?
All right, so I'll just go first, and if you guys want to add anything, you can. I think this is a question best left for like a couple weeks from now. I'm not like putting off your question, Dylan, because I think it's a good one. When we do our like New Year's podcast, I plan on getting into like what we want to do in the next year, and what we want to accomplish, what we want to achieve together. Because it's not just us; it's ultimately you guys that are listening that drive what we do. And I want to talk then about what we want to do in 2018 and what we want to accomplish by the end of a year from now, and where we want to be headed a year from now. So I'm going to defer that for a couple weeks. Just keep that in mind, because we are absolutely going to talk about it as we wrap up 2017 and look into 2018. But great question. We'll just I plan on hitting that a little more.
Yeah, and I'd like to just piggyback on that. If you guys have any suggestions of what you'd like to hear, maybe, or any ideas, if you guys want us to start talking about movies and film or movies and TV or something like that, go to our Facebook page at Gaming Culture Radio Forums. Send us an email. Tyler, do you have the email address? Forget it off the top of my head right now.
Yeah, it's it should be gamingcultureradio@gmail.com. And it might still be the old name at Gmail. I hope not. But
the new name's a lot better,
change the name of the new name is much better. But yeah. But it might still be the old one. If we'll clarify that, we'll get it on the forums this week. So we generally get most of our communication through the forums and Twitter. We don't mention a lot, but it's at Gaming Culture Radio. Follow us there. And also Discord. We have a page on Discord, Gaming Culture Radio there. Follow us there. And if you send us something on any of those, one of us is going to see it. And we'll take that feedback and go. I would specifically, this is kind of what you said, Steve, I would specifically love to hear what you guys would love to see us do in terms of streaming, in terms of, that other piece of it. Because our goal is to make it much more interactive. And now we're getting into stuff we're going to talk about in 2 weeks. So I'm just going to briefly hit on it. But we want to make it much more interactive. So ideas you have as far as streaming goes, things like that. Because the podcast, as fun as it is for us to do, it's a fairly one-sided conversation. and the streaming aspect becomes much more interactive with you, the listener. So we want to expand that. We want to grow that, and I'd love to hear what you'd like to see. What kind of games do you want to see? Because we've kind of played around with some things. We streamed Battlefront 2 to a couple viewers. Then we streamed like Trivial Pursuit Monopoly to more viewers. Because it was different and I think kind of really
I had
fun.
a blast.
It was actually really fun to play that. And Eugene's like, "Are you really playing this right now?" Yeah, we are. So it was actually fun. Yeah, you don't always have to play, Halo or Destiny or whatever to have a good time and have an entertaining interaction. So we want to hear that from you. But I'm going to save the rest for a couple weeks from now. Eugene, any additional thoughts?
I don't want to talk about too much, like you said, 2 weeks, but I'm sure there's like maybe a movie or something that we're just itching to talk about, but it just doesn't really tie into this podcast. Mm-hmm. So that's something that 2 weeks we'll definitely deep dive into.
Yeah, was there a movie that came out recently that
I don't think so. I
don't think so.
No. Yeah.
Nothing good.
Yeah. Pretty slow.
So,
I don't think there are any huge buyouts or anything recently either.
No big buyouts. Nothing that's going to change landscape movies.
Yeah, nothing great. So.
No. So anyway, if you do want to see something, please tell us. Because ultimately, we look to you to help guide the direction of the show. Because we want to make something you're going to enjoy. Simple as that. And we'll make it a lot less simple with more details in a couple weeks.
So that wraps up questions. So now we'll get to our winner for the week. What do we have this week, Tyler?
So we have a month of Xbox Games Pass. So hopefully our listener that sent the question in that won has an Xbox One. But it is a free month of Games Pass. And I think that's an awesome prize, by the way, because it unlocks 100 games for you to play. So that's pretty cool.
Our winner this week is Brian Richland. So shoot us a message on Facebook, either one of us, Tyler, myself, or Eugene, and we can get that code out to you, and you can test your month out for the Games Pass, see if you like it.
Awesome. So do you guys have anything else to add?
No, I think that's it.
Let's bring it together.
Nope. All right. So quick reminder, please head over to culturegaming.com, cast your vote for Game of the Year while you're there. And while you're there, you can also get all the latest and all the gaming news from Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and PC. Please also head on to Twitch and Mixer. Follow us, Gaming Culture Radio, at both those places. Your support is greatly appreciated. Just by hitting that follow button, it helps us achieve that affiliate status that we're looking to get, so we can provide a better product to you. All right, that's going to do it for... lastly, one more cheap plug. Go and join our Facebook group if you haven't yet. Gaming Culture Radio forums on Facebook, where you submit questions, be read on the show, and win a prize, just like Brian Richland just did. All right, now, that is going to do it for episode number 74 of Gaming Culture Radio. We'll be back next week with episode number 75, and until then, for Eugene, Steve, and the gone Graham this week. Happy holidays, Graham. Yeah, we're missing Canadian. You'll see him on a milk carton soon. But for them, I'm Tyler saying thank you so much for joining us for episode number 74. We'll be back next week with a Christmas-themed episode. So everybody please submit Christmas-themed questions for next week. We'll be back with number 75. Until everyone, have a great week. Stay safe. Play some great games. We will talk to you next week. Goodbye, everybody.